are 3 true Snapchat horror stories. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe so you are always up to date on new content. This also allows more people like you to listen to my narrations. Thank you. When I started my marketing internship the winter of my sophomore year, I was excited to move into the furnished townhouse the company provided. I had the place to myself the whole month of December. No roommates, no visiting family, just me enjoying total freedom and independence for the first time. The townhouse was nice, spacious living room, kitchen with new appliances, even a little balcony off my bedroom upstairs. At first, having my own space was a dream come true. I could lounge on the couch binge-watching shows in my pajamas all day. I could eat potato chips and ice cream for dinner without anyone judging me. I could stay up late doing whatever I wanted without bothering anyone. But after a few days, the newness wore off. The townhouse seemed too quiet, too empty at night. The freedom started to feel isolating. I had almost no friends in this new city. My coworkers at the internship were friendly, but all older professionals with families to go home to. At 19 years old, I'd never lived completely on my own before. I missed the hustle and bustle of dorm life. Trying to fill the loneliness, I started hanging out in the lounge area of the townhouse complex in the evenings. One night, I met a guy named Jake, who said he lived a few doors down. We chatted for a bit. He was also new to the area for a short-term job. Jake seemed nice enough, but something about him put me slightly on edge. He stood a bit too close, held eye contact a little too long. Still, when he asked for my Snapchat, I gave it to him. I chalked the weird vibes up to just being socially awkward after so much time alone. At first, Jake's snaps were harmless, if a bit excessive. He added me to his best friends list within a day, meaning he was snapping me more than anyone else. His pictures were innocuous though, silly selfies, his dog, meals he cooked. I replied occasionally to be polite. Before long, the snaps took a turn. One night I opened a snap from Jake around midnight. To my surprise, it was a picture of my townhouse, lights on in my bedroom upstairs. A chill ran through my body. I shrugged it off, assuming he just walked by. But over the next hour, 3 more snaps appeared. My car parked out front, the front door of my office building, the coffee shop I'd mentioned liking. I messaged Jake asking him to stop, saying it was late and I needed sleep. He read the message but didn't reply. At 2 a.m., a simple "sweet dreams" came through from him with a winking emoji. Needless to say, I barely slept that night. The next evening, it happened again. As I studied at the local library, Jake sent snaps, revealing he knew exactly where I was. A bookcase I was browsing, the librarian who just helped me find a book, even my backpack on the floor next to my chair when I got up to use the restroom. By then, I realized he must have been following me, tracking my location throughout the day. But why? How did I get him to stop? The 3rd day after Jake got my Snapchat, I had a full-fledged stalker on my hands. I stayed hunkered down in the townhouse all day, ready to go out. Yet no place seemed safe from his lurking eyes. Cozy afternoon in, he messaged with a shot of me curled up on the couch in a blanket. Then a snap of me closing the blinds in my bedroom. I felt powerless, constantly looking over my shoulder, jumping at every unfamiliar sound. My internship supervisor suggested I call the police, but they said there was nothing they could legally do without evidence of direct threats. Jake knew exactly how to terrorize me without crossing a criminal line, and he was relishing every moment of power and control. The night before my winter break ended, I barricaded myself in my bedroom early, double-checking the lock on every window and door. But sleep felt impossible. Around 2 a.m., I heard the ominous Snapchat notification sound. My throat tightened. Jake's message glowed on my screen, a single black image. I nervously typed, "Please stop this," and hit send. Suddenly, a faint buzzing came from under my bed. Hands shaking, I called Jake on Snapchat video. The buzz became louder, more insistent. When Jake answered, his face leering through the screen, I lost it. No time even to put shoes on, I just fled, sprinted to the gas station down the road. From there, I called the police in hysterics, spilling the entire stalking story. This time, the police arrived in force, scouring the townhouse complex. One officer found Jake hiding, actually inside my empty roommate's closet. A mobile phone jammer in his jacket had caused the bizarre buzzing. Finally caught red-handed and arrested, Jake pled guilty to stalking charges. But the damage was done. I moved out the next day, canceled my internship early. My roommates and I found a new apartment and all deleted Snapchat for good. I still feel uneasy when recalling that harrowing month, but sharing my story sheds light on the dark side of social media and the need for caution, even when you think it's just an innocent neighbor. My Snapchat horror story taught me to trust my instincts and stay vigilant about protecting my privacy and location. It was just a regular weeknight when the terrifying events unfolded. I was in my bedroom, books and notes spread out across my desk as I tried to cram for the huge math test happening tomorrow. Formulas and equations blurred together in my brain, an endless stream of gibberish. I had been at it for hours, but still didn't feel fully prepared. My eyes were glazing over, boredom and fatigue setting in. I decided to take a quick break from the monotony of studying. Pulling out my phone, I opened up Snapchat to see who was on there to chat with. Luckily, my best friend Anna's Bitmoji popped up, indicating she was active. I smiled. Anna was just the person I needed to help me distress and take my mind off this tiresome homework. I snapped a pic of myself with my textbooks, captioned, "Save me from studying," and sent it off to Anna. Within moments, a snap popped up from her. It showed Anna sitting at her own desk, chem books spread out, looking just as academics exhausted as I felt. Her caption said, "Tell me about it. So much work." In the background of the photo, I noticed a weird dark shadow near her closet door. It gave me chills looking at it, the way it seemed to hover there menacingly. A prickle of unease passed through me as I replied, "What's that creepy shadow behind you?" and hit send. Anna responded right away, assuring me it was nothing, probably just a trick of the light or some clothes hung up. She added that she was home alone, so no one else could be casting shadows in her room. Somehow this made me feel even more unsettled, my sense of foreboding growing. I couldn't shake the feeling that the shadow was more than it seemed. The conversation continued normally for a few more snaps, but the image of that shadow kept nagging at me. Anna sent me a photo of some chemistry notes she was studying, but I could only focus on the background, watching for any dark, moving shapes. There was nothing I could see this time, but the uneasy feeling remained coiled in my gut. I kept checking Snapchat, waiting for Anna's chat to light up again, but she had gone silent. The minutes ticked by, my text going unread as well. I tried calling, but it went straight to voicemail. This was not like her at all. Anna and I were constantly in communication, the back and forth only stopping when one of us fell asleep. Something was very wrong here. Fear was creeping through me now. I see tendrils of panic taking hold. Without stopping to overthink it, I grabbed my bike and raced out the door into the night. My legs pedaled hard, pulse thrumming in my ears as I sped down the dark, empty streets to Anna's house. The whole way there my mind was bombarded with terrible scenarios about why she wasn't responding. When I arrived, the house was completely dark at first glance. Then I noticed a sole window illuminated on the second floor, Anna's bedroom. Adrenaline coursing through me, I dropped my bike and ran to the front door. I rang the bell over and over, banged my fists on the door yelling Anna's name, but only silence answered. Peering up at the lit window, I knew I had to get inside. I dragged a heavy trash can from the side of the house over to the window and climbed on top. Hoisting the window open the rest of the way so I could crawl through. I tumbled into the bedroom, eyes darting around rapidly, searching for the shadowy figure from before. That's when I saw it, back in its earlier spot near the closet. But it was no mere shadow. It was a man, looming there holding something in his hands. Before I even had time to think, instinct took over, and I launched myself at him with a scream. We crashed to the floor as I began pummeling every inch of the intruder I could reach. My hand landed on something sharp and metal, a screwdriver on Anna's desk. I grabbed it and began blindly stabbing wherever I made contact. The man shouted in pain as the screwdriver pierced his arm, dripping crimson blood. He managed to shove me off and I saw his face for the first time, older, unshaven, deranged eyes. This monstrous creep had been in Anna's room. waiting for who knows what, but undoubtedly something horrific. He stumbled to his feet and fled from the room. I listened to his footsteps pounding down the stairs, the front door slamming shut. I went to chase after him, but finding Anna was my first priority. I raced from room to room on shaky legs calling her name, until I heard the most relieving sound, her soft, bewildered voice speaking mine. She had been downstairs cooking, unable to hear my frantic calls or the kitchen sounds. Everything after remains a blur, the police sirens wailing, the kaleidoscope of red and blue lights, recounting the story as paramedics checked me over. I was in shock, running on pure adrenaline still. The police investigated and found blood trailing out to the street, but it disappeared abruptly, as if the man had gotten into a vehicle and driven away. I can't stop replaying those Snapchat images in my mind, imagining all the unthinkable ways this night could have ended if I hadn't tuned into that bad feeling, if I hadn't come racing over on just a hunch. It sends a chill down my spine realizing how close my best friend came to becoming a victim tonight. But thankfully, she's safe. I trust my instincts now more than ever. Your gut knows. Always listen when it's screaming at you that something is wrong. You might just save the life of someone you love. That night was like any other boring weeknight. I was chilling in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, but procrastinating by scrolling through Snapchat. With nothing much going on in my feed, I clicked over to the Add Friends screen out of boredom. That's when I saw it, a request from some random account with a username that was just a jumble of numbers and letters. The tiny snap score showed they didn't use it much. No Bitmoji or profile pic either. Screened bot account. I should have just ignored it, but I was curious what would happen if I engaged with one of those sketchy accounts. Before I could overthink it, I tapped accept to add them back. Almost instantly, I got a notification that this new friend wanted to video chat on Snapchat. Red flag number 1. We'd never even snapped each other before, and now they wanted to video chat out of the blue. Creepy. Still, curiosity got the better of me. I hit accept and the video call connected. At first, all I could see was a thumb covering the camera lens. Then the owner of the account let out this horrifying, blood-curdling scream. It was like they were being viciously murdered. I still get chills thinking about that scream. I instantly ended the call, my heart racing. What kind of sick freak was this? My question was quickly answered when I received a chat with my full name and home address. Before I could even process that, a snap map photo of my house popped up. This stranger knew exactly where I lived and clearly had sinister plans. I started spiraling, imagining all the horrible things that could happen. I grabbed the old baseball bat from under my bed in a panic. Peering nervously through the blinds, I saw a black Toyota parked down the street that I didn't recognize. I tried taking deep breaths and distracting myself with Netflix, but it was useless. I knew someone sinister was coming for me, probably the psycho from the Snapchat account. Around 2 a.m., my worst fears came true. I heard noises outside like someone was picking the lock on my front door. The door creaked open and heavy footsteps entered. I froze, listening to the intruder creeping around downstairs. As quietly as I could, I shoved my heavy dresser in front of my bedroom door to barricade it. Hands shaking, I dialed 911 and whispered what was happening. The operator told me to stay hidden and not make a sound. Soon the intruder was outside my bedroom, aggressively trying to get the door open, but the dresser kept them out. I could hear police sirens in the distance getting closer and closer. Just as suddenly as they'd entered, I heard the intruder bolt back through the house and out the front door. They must have gotten spooked by the sirens. I huddled silently in my room until 2 police officers arrived minutes later. I let the officers in and showed them the Snapchat account of the sicko who I presumed had broken in. The officers reopened the chat and saw a video snap of the front of my house. Evidence the account belonged to the intruder. Based on the video call scream and using Snap Map to find my address, the officers said it seemed like this was a planned kidnapping or worse. I felt so violated, knowing that Psycho had been just outside my bedroom door, plotting who knows what. The police looked around outside and said the suspect had fled just in time before they arrived. The black Toyota was also gone without a trace. they're still trying to identify the vehicle and track down the perpetrator. Ever since that night, I'm paranoid, imagining creepers lurking outside my house. I immediately turned off Snap Map and deleted Snapchat completely. No way am I letting some other weirdo use the app to find me again. The cops have been patrolling my neighborhood looking for the Toyota and any suspicious people. But so far, the creep who broke in is still out there somewhere. I barely sleep thinking about them coming back to finish what they started. I'll never feel totally safe on Snapchat again after what happened. All it takes is one time friending the wrong person online or having your location visible. Now I know you really have no idea who is behind that username or Bitmoji. Learned my lesson the hard way how dangerous social media can be. I'm just grateful the police showed up when they did. Things could have ended so much worse. Stay vigilant on apps, and think twice before connecting with strangers. You truly never know someone's real motives or what they're capable of. I'll never forget that terrifying night for the rest of my life. If you enjoyed these stories, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you had similar encounters, please share your experiences too. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe as it supports me a lot.